there's actually quite a few red flags in the next couple of pages. So as you're going through, there's some red flags that you can actually look at starting on page 6 and say, okay, are there any of these things that we could detect? And if we could, how would we detect it, and how would that get reported up? If you go to page 7, structuring and funnel account activity, this is actually a great, just basic premise for things that you should be monitoring, just from a money laundering perspective to begin with. Structuring and funnel account activity, that is a basic money laundering technique, not just used by drug traffickers, but and you can kind of go through 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Take a look at those and see, okay, would our program catch all of these things? And maybe we're not even asking. Like number 9, the source of funds cannot be corroborated. Are we even asking what the source of funds are for some of these types of activity? But really, a lot of it's kind of basics 101 types of things. Go to page 8. There's the shell company red flags. So as you're looking at your beneficial owner procedures and the enhanced due diligence questions that you might be asking for business accounts, are you going to be able to cover off on all of these things? Look at number 13 at the top of page 8, an unclear business model. A lot of times accounts are opened, and maybe the individual who's sitting across the table from the company, or the representative of the company who's opening the account or applying for that loan, maybe they have a really solid understanding of what this company does and what to expect from them. But that understanding that individual has never actually makes it into your customer due diligence program. I see it all the time, where you go through and you look at the account opening questionnaire, and it really doesn't give you any idea of what is actually going on with this customer. So an unclear business model, where you can't really understand from the documentation what exactly does this company do. That's one of the common flaws that I see in customer due diligence programs, is that those account opening questions, or even documentation over time for deposit accounts particularly, you don't have a whole lot of understanding of what that company is and what it does. Now, oftentimes, if I start asking questions, the individuals involved do know what's going on over there, but keep in mind, these are some of the red flags you should be looking for. Company address and location discrepancy. This is a common area that a lot of times is just kind of brushed over, but it's important to follow up on these things, because sometimes it just doesn't make sense why this individual is over here. Anyway, name discrepancies, employer ID discrepancies. Again, anytime you run into those types of discrepancies, it's it can cause problem, or it is something that you should be able to identify and follow up on.